Well, hey there, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith with an update here on what's going on with Ida, a system that could be a real problem for our neighbors to the west, and we're going to obviously see some issues with it as well. This is a system that's moving across Cuba right now and will soon be emerging into the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to happen tonight. Here's a look at the timeline. So you're probably thinking, hey, when does this thing get into our area and how quickly will it cause problems for the Gulf Coast? Well, we expect tomorrow a ramping up on the far outer edges of this, really the broad circulation around the system, some evening storms, afternoon, evening, pretty good chance of rain on our Saturday. Sunday is when the bands will start getting in here, and with those we'll see wind, we'll see rain, we'll see some storm surge. We're going to have tides running about 3 to 5 feet above normal, and also we're going to be in the northeast quadrant, which means we may see some isolated tornadoes, and this will be, when it's all said and done, a heavy rainfall problem for the Gulf Coast. Torrential rainfall on Sunday and Monday, and that may continue through some of the day on Tuesday. About a 3-day rain event is unfolding, and that's our primary concern in our impacts graphic. Flooding, a high risk there, and it's going to be a developing situation that ramps up into Sunday night and Monday. We'll also see tropical storm force winds, especially near the coast, and then we've got that elevated risk of storm tides with a 3 to 5 foot range with higher totals across the Mississippi coast. So Ida, as of 7 o'clock, is an 80-mile-per-hour system. It's moving northwest at 15. It won't take long to cross the less mountainous side, very narrow area of Cuba based on the way it's going right now. I don't think the western end of Cuba is going to have much impact on the circulation. If it does, it's just going to be brief. We expect that tonight this will actually strengthen to a Category 2 and then become a major hurricane potentially by tomorrow afternoon. Now, this is the forecast track, and the computer models are in really good agreement that this is going to be an issue primarily for southeastern Louisiana. The center of the storm will come ashore somewhere between the mouth of the Mississippi River and mainly just to the east of Lake Charles. So it looks like the Morgan City area, the Fourchon area, Grand Isle, and New Orleans going to get the worst of it, as well as Baton Rouge as it pushes inland. And the official forecast, while the track of it is pretty much locked in at this point, the intensity forecast, still some question marks there, and we do expect it to rapidly intensify as it moves across the Gulf, and it could be a 140-mile-per-hour storm or a little stronger. 3, 4, 5 major hurricane. That's the bottom line there in the forecast, and it's in a low shear warm water environment, and when it gets here in the central Gulf, it's going to be over that loop current, and that is a warm water eddy that's a lot of fuel for developing tropical systems. Look at the lines here with the models really locking in here on southeastern Louisiana. Water temperatures, there's a warm eddy right here, so that's where the water temperature jumps up, and there's more oceanic heat content in that eddy as well, and the water temperatures increase as it moves up towards the Louisiana coast. The core of the storm now here, as you can see it loop, that puts it just right here over the western tip of Cuba. It's about halfway across the island country there. As far as wind shear, the one thing that's been limiting it is a little southerly shear, and that's being created by this upper level low over the Yucatan. So that is creating a counterclockwise wind flow pattern and a little bit of shear as it's moving across Cuba. But once it gets away from that upper low, and this upper low will weaken and push away, it's going to get over the Gulf, and it will be an environment that favors rapid intensification. For us, as we look at the timeline here on Ida, it'll enter the Gulf tonight. It'll be in the lower Gulf and then crossing the central Gulf on Saturday, and then Sunday, major hurricane with an evening landfall and then a slower forward speed once it pushes inland. That's where the problems will be as far as the freshwater flooding threat. So tomorrow night at around 11 o'clock, again, what we see tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night is going to be the outer edges. And then by Sunday morning, we're starting to get the outer rain bands. So we start to see the wind increasing, the pressure gradient starting to tighten up in the core of the storm to our west. We get into Sunday evening, and you can see that rain banding setting up. It sets up over our part of the Gulf Coast and doesn't go away through the night, Sunday night, or into Monday. We're going to see that torrential rain then. And the core of the storm moving in and bringing in the worst of the weather to Louisiana. We see it riding up the mouth of the Mississippi as a slower forward speed. And see, there you go. Lunchtime on Monday, no change. We're still in intense outer bands, and they have a way of lingering and training over areas. This is midnight, and it still shows us in the rain bands and that moist plume, and it may shove a little to the east finally by Tuesday, but by then our rainfall totals will be substantial. This is a different model here, the European model, and it has a pretty similar track. The GFS and the European in a lot of agreement here, maybe a little slower with the Euro, which would be a little stronger. And we have it going again right up around Baton Rouge and up the mouth of the Mississippi River and riding up into the Mississippi Delta, keeping us in the heavy rain bands and on the nasty side of it. We're not going to get a direct hit, but we're going to see the outer impacts, and we're going to be on the windy and wet side of it with this one for sure. This evening, we've just seen some light showers in the area. Not bad for a Friday night as we update you on that. Winds pretty light, so calm conditions in our local area. Looking at the rain totals and the rain chances, they're going to be most impressive Sunday and Monday. That's when our rain chance is going to be at approximately 100%. We're also going to see a real high rain chance through Tuesday, with the outer edges of Ida likely going to put a damper on things in a really big way across our part of the Gulf Coast, and our neighbors to the west could see a major hurricane.